I've spent a lot of time on YouTube. In fact, you could say I've wasted a lot of time or part of my life watching videos. However, some of the most enjoyable videos for me are watching people show off their listening room or stereo room tours. Well, today it's my turn to show off what we've done with our two-car garage. Stick around. Hi, I'm Virgil. It's July 2025. Welcome to more stereo gear, please. I've been collecting digital and analog stereo gear for the last 11 years as part of my retirement hobby. Along with that, spent a lot of time hunting down and buying records, CDs, SACDs, and even cassette tapes, along with streaming. Started out in a small room, which is our third bedroom, which is 10 by 11. And because of some relatives who wanted to remodel their garage into what's called an ADU, an additional dwelling unit, they inspired my wife and I to think about remodeling our garage into a bigger listening room and kind of a family room too. So now we went from a 10 by 11 to 17 by 18 with 9.5-foot ceilings. I never imagined having a larger music room for the rest of my life. And it was quite a gamble and the timing was right. So let's get started. Let's take a look. Okay, here's the start of our listening room tour coming out of what's technically our laundry room. Thought I'd kind of go around a little bit, kind of give you a quick overview before I go into more detail. To show you some of the items. It's our backyard. It's actually the back of the garage with the new window now. And the entrance to our kitchen, a mini split system to help cool. And then the door, the access door to our laundry room. I'll talk about those storage cabinets. We have a night light as well. So starting off, we decided to use the advice from my brother-in-law. Said, hey, you got that window up pretty high with this 9.5-foot ceilings. Maybe you should get some bookcases. So we decided to buy some bookcases from IKEA. We got the Besta series. And you can see we've got it set up for our CD collection right now. And stuff that we had stored away for quite a while. Seemed like 10 years, never know what happens when life passes you by so quickly. So a lot of our DVDs. I'm up to 677 LPs with this organization now. I've got actual dividers, alphabetical. All right, and that's true over here as well. Okay, so start with A. Work all the way across, okay? Okay, so we work all the way across, yeah? And what we're doing with not only storing CDs and DVDs, but my wife said, we got to get some of that stereo gear. You got to remember, I had stereo gear hidden under beds in our bedrooms. So now, with the Besta cabinet down on the bottom, you can see there's a couple of my Luxman tuners, all right? And then over here on the right side, that's actually a Super Scope R310. Super Scope bought Marantz many years ago. That's the receiver that I use, only 5 watts. I used back in the late 70s when I was in college. The other is a Luxman CL 350 solid state preamp. So we've got some gear kind of stored down there. And then coming over here, we're confined obviously because of the stairs that were poured in concrete 20 years ago, but I still have some storage space down below. And here I have a Nakamichi BX 150 two-head cassette deck, and then a kind of a recent purchase. This is a Sun Valley's from Japan. It's an 8-watt 300B single-ended triode, or a set amp, with new Western Electric 300B tubes. So we've got some gear stored down there, and kind of the limiting factor, you know, some of these cabinets are not the strongest in the world. I'm not using Calyx mainly because they don't go as high to the ceiling as these do, but I'm kind of limiting myself to the first two shelves for storage. So I'm going to be limited to probably about 750 LPs. So one of my pride and joys is from 1984. My brother-in-law has these as well. They're KEF 104 2s. They're 4-ohm speakers. Has a walnut finish. I've taken the cover off so you can see. It's a little hard to see, but there's actually an 8-inch woofer cone, and there's one up on the top, an opposing one, a couple of we call mid-range drivers, and a tweeter. So these are 4-ohm speakers, like I mentioned before. And I did a refinish. I put some fresh orange oil on it to kind of spiff it up a little bit. And the cables that I'm using, can't really tell too well here, but if you come over, I decided to go, and I always buy cables from Blue Jeans. Yeah, and these are actually Belden 1313A. They're 10 gauge from what's called the Iconoclast Blue Jeans series. And then here's the actual speaker with the cover on. All right, yeah, very nice. They sound just terrific. They're in great condition. I've only had to replace, I think, one tweeter. All right. We decided to go with a new TV, so I got a Sony Bravia 8. It came with a built-in speaker system. Think about 3 speakers, and it does have room correction software. However, I decided to make some modifications. I'll talk about that in a second. But I decided to get some new cables. I got some HDMI 2.1. One is actually for use with here it is, the Apple 4K TV box. And then I have something I use for my Blu-ray for DVDs and SACDs. So that's connected as well. And that's connected with a Toslink glass fiber to what's called a Mytek Brooklyn DAC. All right. I'm running an Ethernet cable. It's kind of hard to see, but maybe it's back there. You can barely see it. We ran Ethernet and coax cable from our living room all the way into the house, all the way out here from the modem and the router, and set that up so that we would just connect it right to the back here. And I've actually got a, I think it's called TP Link. It's a switcher, all right? So I've got an Apple TV box in the living room, kind of a similar setup. And we got one out here as well. The current stereo rack that I have, all right? So I've got a VPI Scout turntable. I've had this maybe 8 or 9 years, and it has a step-up transformer in the back from, it's from Bob's Devices, and that's connected to this particular turntable, and it eventually goes down here, and I'll explain in more detail, to this stereo preamp as well. So what are the upgrades? Well, I did a new mat. It's not a turntable mat that you use to put a record on. It's just to protect the aluminum platter. I put in a new thumb screw, make it easier to make the adjustments, because this is a unit pivot arm. It has a umami blue, a Hana cart, right, on the back. Okay, and then the big upgrade was doing the platter. The platter used to be 11.5 inches. Now it's 12 inch. It's a 20-pound, 2-inch thick platter. And then I had to go ahead and add what's called a spacer. You can barely see it. It's a black one down there to raise up the tone arm. So I made some modifications there. I thought, you know what? I love this table. It's from VPI out on the East Coast. It's a great table. I just had some upgrades rather than spend an arm and a leg on some newer table. Now this was one of my first purchases way back when, 10, 11 years ago. It's a Pioneer PL630, fully automatic, and it's a great table. Now it has a known problem, and sometimes the speed control issues show up, but I'm able to use some deoxit that I basically I just squirt it on top, let it soak down a little bit, rotate, push buttons, things like that, and that takes care of it. The only upgrades I have to this is I wanted something to kind of balance out with the VPI. So I went ahead and got this kind of heavy duty record weight from Thorns. It looks great when it's spinning around. And I have a Dynavector 20x2 moving coil cartridge. So that's kind of the only ones. The only other options that I've really upgraded within the last probably 10 days were some Blue Jeans RCA cables, because I had to put this darn preamp out here and it has to go to the back. Now with the Pioneer, I'm running a moving coil cartridge. So instead of using like the Bob's Devices, I have something, it's called the Lounge Audio Copla by Bob Moran's out here in the kind of the Simi Valley area. It has an adjustable dial for decibel and gain, so you can kind of match up your cartridges pretty well. Now I do collect tuners, as you did see a few moments ago in one of the cabinets. So this tuner is an FM only. You may have seen it in a previous video I've done. It's a T110 tuner by, what's the name? Tim Di Paravicini. And then the matching preamp, which is a C1000 preamp. This was serviced about 8 years ago. All cleaned up, new capacitors, lights, all those kind of things. All right. I do use about every conceivable input that I have there. And then I also use the deck outputs. So for example, if I flip it up, like flip this one up, this will actually connect the Oppo DVD player. And then when I pop this one down, I actually use it with my Apple AirPlay. Yeah. So I've got that. All right. So what else have I got? Oh yeah, this is a matching amplifier. It's M2000. It's rated at 120 watts. It has 2 attenuators, so you can set the amount of power for the left and the right channels. It's it's heavy duty. And if I can show you on the back, you see that one of the heat sinks, all machined aluminum, very heavy, beautiful rosewood case. So I love that. Not too many years ago, I think around 2021, you may be familiar with Blue Sound Node. I got the N130, I think it's 2021 version streamer. I was using that quite a lot with this Mytek Brooklyn, it's called a Brooklyn DAC Plus, and it has a lot of capability. So it's a very good DAC that I use. The only thing I added to the Blue Sound Node, you can barely see it, but I bought some 3M sticky feet to kind of raise it up a little bit, because the Mytek Brooklyn DAC does put off a little bit of heat. Now this Brooklyn DAC is my second DAC. I bought this back in, I think, 2020. It came with some goodies, some RCA cables, and then a headphone adapter, so I can actually hook up either a single, we call unbalanced, or two cables, balanced headphones, which I do have. All right. So what did I do with this now? Well, I can still play Blue OS, listen to music, but what I decided to do is run up there from the TV a Toslink glass fiber cable, bring it down here, and then through this I can then go ahead, run it into the preamp, to the amp, and I get the sound to all of my speakers. So that's has a dual function. It's a great DAC. Apple 4K TV, it's the Ethernet edition, 128 gig storage. I do have apps on the TV, which you can't see right now, but it allows me to go ahead and select music from my Roon server, for example, and play that, as well as my iPhone. Now, this is a Mac Mini M1 computer. Its only function, it's headless. In other words, there's no monitor. Only when it goes down, I have to hook a monitor up to reprogram it. But what this is, it runs my Roon subscription software. It's a music management software. There are other options out there, but I decided to go with Roon and try that out. So I have two endpoints. One, what do I mean by endpoints? Well, one is this room, this listening room. The other one is actually the living room. So I have same functionality in both rooms thanks to this particular Mac Mini computer. Right? It's on 24/7. It's running all the time in the background. It has on the back a 1 terabyte Samsung solid state drive that I've stored all of my ripped CDs. So I still play CDs, but I have the ripped versions in FLAC files, so I can access that, as well as access information, music I want to play from Tidal and Qobuz through the Roon system. All right. I use what's called Roon Arc. I don't have a picture of it, but it's actually an app on my cell phone. And then I go to the gym, or I get up in the morning, throw on some headphones. I think I got them right here. These are great headphones. They're from Odyssey. They're called Maxwell's. They're wireless. Have a good range of about, you probably walk about 100 feet from the house. And the cool thing, the battery life is good for about 80 hours. Easy and quick to recharge. Now, another great device I bought from an audiophile through Craigslist about 15 minutes away, about I'd say two and a half years ago. This Oppo BDP 105 Blu-ray player. I gave up an old CD, what do you call a 5-disc changer. It did not play, we call the SACD layer, just worn out. So I bought this, and then it's come into play now because they can watch the DVDs that we have as well. Yeah, it's great. So it's connected to the Sony TV by an HDMI cable. Now, I did talk about Blue Sound Streamer and another DAC, the Brooklyn, but this past year I've decided to upgrade both my streamer and DAC. So this is what's called it's Holo Audio. They're out of China. And this is actually a streamer. It only comes in one color. It just has one little light, little green light. And it's simple in design. It's connected to my Mac Mini computer, all right, with a Blue Jeans Ethernet cable. And it's connected to its sister unit, which is a Cyan 2 DAC. It's connected by, I think it's an Audio Quest Cinnamon USB cable. Now, I love this DAC. It's very highly rated. I use it primarily with a USB cable, and then I connect it to my Audiolab 6000 CDT CD transport with an optical cable. All right, so there's no buttons or dials or anything. You just have to have whatever inputs coming. If it's a USB feed or a Toslink feed, it'll go through the DAC and straight over to my preamp. All right. The other thing below it is a power conditioner. I have so many things to plug in. It's on 24/7. I do have it dimmed out so I don't have to look at that ugly blue light. And I had to put in another power strip. I ran out of connections with this one, so I put a power strip on the back that helps me with the tube Phono preamp and then the head amp that I use for the Pioneer turntable. So yeah, so once again, I do have a CD player, but it doesn't have a DAC. So it literally goes through the cyan 2 and then out to the rest of the system. Now, to support both of my turntables, I recently purchased, probably over a year ago, it's called a Sun Valley. It says Phono equalizer. Has a big rectifier tube, a couple of tubes for each channel, right? And I wanted to use something separate. I didn't want to use the phono stage in my preamp. I wanted something better. The cool thing about this, if you look at the top, it has 2 inputs. So I can flip the switch for either the VPI or my Pioneer. I've got high gain, have roll off, and then when I want to play mono records or stereo, I have the ability just to kind of throw the switch there. Yeah. Okay, so that kind of takes care of a lot of the gear, some bookcases, and you know, the title of my my channel is More Stereo Gear, Please. And in that 10 by 11 room, for many years, I used this bellow cabinet. I bought it through, I guess it was Best Buy back then. And during the remodeling of this room, and by the way, this used to be the garage door. You can actually see the garage door outside. It's a facade now. I went on OfferUp, and believe it or not, I found another matching bellow cabinet. Like I say, no more no more gear under our bedrooms, no more records and record crates scattered throughout the house. We have this now. So let me open it up real quick. And I do like to swap gear from time to time. So this is my third turntable. It's a Technics SL 1800. Sorry with the glare and everything, but it has a Stanton 681 EEE cartridge, moving magnet. I collect a lot of vintage gear. This is a T117 AM/FM tuner. This is a probably around 1990 or so, a Luxman. It's a I believe 351 cassette deck. Had that service within the last 2 years. Runs great. It can actually search between the songs with the spaces on the recorded tapes. This is a control center from the 90s. It's a TP114. There's another one called a TP117, but I got this particular one. And this matches with this big ass M117 Luxman power amp. It's a beast. It's heavier than hell, but it has 200 watts of power into 8 ohms. So quickly going to the next cabinet. I won't pull it out, but this is actually a dual top loader cassette deck. I think it's a C939. I had it serviced. This is a very famous, what is it, what the hell is it? 950, yeah, F950 cassette player. Yeah, so I've had that forever. I think that was the second piece I got. The first amplifier I bought was a Luxman C120A, I believe. Yeah. No, excuse me, M120A. It's similar in power to the other amp that I was showing you in the rack. And then about a year and a half ago, I bought the matching C120A preamp. I did start out in tube gear. There was a big hype about 4 years ago. Wilsonton from China put out a unit for about $1,000. I bought this a little bit more than $1,000. Bought it through Amazon.com. It's a push-pull. It can do 25 watts. And also I think with ultra linear mode, it can do 45 watts push-pull. And it's an integrated amp, so you can hook up some other things too. So in other words, you could use an external preamp and come into here as well as with a preamp. So that's some of my gear. There's one other piece of gear that's out for service right now, and it's another Luxman piece of gear, and it's a CL350. It's a kind of a hybrid tube amp. So yeah, so these are my nice cabinets, and then on top of here, hats off to my brother-in-law. Did a painting for one of my wife's reunions a couple years back. All right, I did bring down one of my CD racks, then a rotating rack as well, and then I think it's Marty the Martian. He's my assistant when it comes time to clean records. That's a gift from my nephews many years back. And with all the records I have, which I've cleaned anywhere from 2 to 3 times, getting old, I decided to invest in a degritter 2. Let's pop it out a little bit there. And this is a ultrasonic cleaner, and it's a wonder. Must have blown the power or something. But anyway, it's great. It has a water tank in the back, and so what it basically does is bring the water into a chamber, put the record in, it goes through and rotates. So let me try this. I think I forgot to throw the switch on the back. Yeah, it's great. It has 4 different settings in terms of the amount of time you want to devote for the washing cycle and drying. So you just put the record in there and walk away for whatever you want amount of time. Usually I'm using anywhere from 10 to 11 and a half minutes as a cleaning cycle. And part of that is I do new sleeves. Yep. And I use stickers to identify what's been cleaned. So for example, here's a cleaning cycle, and you can go through, like this is number 4. So you can go through different cleaning cycles. Yep. And I mark the sleeves. So for example, it's a little hard to see. This shows this damn record's been cleaned using my spin cleans. So I'm not some crazy slob just going out to buy an expensive cleaner. I'm just tired of rotating those damn records 5 to the right, 5 to the left. You know how it is. But anyway, this indicates that it's been cleaned with the degritter. This little smiley lets me know that it's a mono record. And the last few things I have up here, some important things. Sorry. Yeah. So I have audio additives, so digital scale, and then I have a unit. It's a 2-piece for making sure the turntables are level. And then finally, dealing with azimuth. This works out really well too. So got that from my brother-in-law. I think it was about $10. So shoot, I think that's about it. So anyway, so that's kind of my cleaning station, and taking a quick spin around the block again here. Just to show you what we have, the layout, our seating area. It's nice. My wife's going to do some paintings. The other listening room is now her painting room, and so she'll work on some projects like that. And we have a beautiful view of our backyard. Patios out there, fountain, and in my Weber grill. So we're really, really happy to have a bigger listening room to relax, do some reading, watch a movie once in a while. And about room treatments, maybe through this video you might actually hear some echoes, but so far we just got the couch and the rug and the bookcases. We'll see. I think for this bigger room, I found out that more powerful solid state amps work a lot better than the 8-watt set tube amps. Yeah. One thing I wish I would have done, but oh well, it's hindsight, is actually level out the darn garage floor because it's uneven. But that's life. You learn as you go. But my wife and I are really, really happy with everything. And we do have this nice little lamp that's on a timer, so when we come in from the outside at night when it's dark. So anyway, but that's the room tour. Hope you enjoyed it. If you want to leave some comments below, if you got some questions, criticisms, just be nice, okay? Have a great day and just keep on listening. Bye.